Well, thank you, and thank you for that very, very warm introduction. And it's wonderful to be here as you celebrate Nowruz and the new year and celebrate the incredible culture of Iran and the incredible history that has existed for hundreds, thousands of years in a very special part of the world. And I want to also thank all of you for being so active to stand up against what has been happening in the country that you love so much. To bring a change there, to bring freedom, to bring opportunity to Iran. And that's certainly not going to be an easy task. And as was mentioned, you know, I've been involved in these issues for the last few years in the House, and now I've been fortunate enough to be elected to the United States Senate. And I'm certainly standing on some very tall shoulders. As was mentioned, Carl Levin was my predecessor, who I know was a strong friend of this community, someone who spoke on a regular basis here. And he continues to be my advisor. And as was mentioned, this is an issue that I take very personally as well, that we need to stand up. We need to be strong as a country. I served in the United States Navy Reserve and had an opportunity to be in the Persian Gulf for part of my service, and stood out of the Straits of Hormuz and saw the strategic choke point that exists right there. And to have a regime in Iran now that is, in my mind, a threat not just to the Middle East, but a threat to the entire world's security is something that is unacceptable. We need to be strong. The United States needs to stay strong. And that's why, as we are now embarking on these negotiations with Iran to hopefully prevent them from ever having a nuclear weapon, which is something that is simply unacceptable to the entire world community, or it should be unacceptable to everyone. We need to be united, and we have to send a strong signal that if they are not at the table and negotiating in good faith, they will see more American strength until they are negotiating in good faith, until we get the result that we need. I am one of the original co-sponsors on the Kirk-Menendez bill, which I know you're all familiar with, which would ramp up those sanctions. When we are united, this should not be a partisan issue. We need to move beyond bipartisanship. It is one that in the past that has been bipartisan, needs to continue to do that. So certainly I urge my colleagues who sometimes want to turn things into partisan issues. This is one that we cannot do that. We need to continue to be united. So we are holding off on a vote on that bill to see what happens in negotiations, but the time limit is not unlimited. We have brought, I believe, the Iranian government to the negotiating table because of the sanctions that we put in place originally, but there is a time limit, and the time has come for action. You know, my experience in government and in negotiations, the reason why I say the time has come is that no matter what time limit you put on negotiations, if you say it's going to be 2 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, they all get done in the last 2 weeks, regardless of what the time frame is. So we cannot keep stretching this out. And I'm certainly going to be one that will stand up. We're going to give certainly the president and the negotiating team the space that they need here in the short run. But depending on what comes out, we'll look at that very closely, as I know my colleagues are, and I believe that Congress needs to continue to have a role when it comes to lifting sanctions that are sanctions that were imposed by the U.S. Congress. So it's our body, our institution, that needs to be the one involved in the ultimate decision. But I just want to, in my final point, just say thank you for being so steadfast. Thank you for organizing. Thank you for making sure that this issue is on the forefront of not just the folks in Congress, but people all across this country. You are the voice of people who have been held down by a regime that does not care about the average person and their dreams and their hopes for a better life for their family. You are that voice. Please continue to make that voice heard, and it's my commitment to you that every step of the way I will stand with you. I will have your back. Thank you so much.